Yeah, so we're excited. Obviously, it's a big week. Having been a player here and knowing it intimately in the last couple of years, I believe it's the 114th meeting. So it's a really old rivalry. Played for a long time in this game. So there's a lot of people in the state that care. A lot of bragging rights and such. So I know Coach Mendenhall does a really good job. So I know he's work on getting that program rolling, and we're working to get back on our feet. So it should be a heck of a game, heck of an atmosphere, and we're excited about it.
Question? Coach Sanchez, just obviously you kind of touched on it there, but just leading up this whole week, what is rivalry week like for you guys?
Well, it's one of those deals too with it's kind of an interesting deal because with so many new guys here, almost 50 new guys and so many transfers and guys, it's like you got to really educate them on what it is. We started yesterday, we talked about it a little bit. Throughout the course of the week, you got to talk about the history, the tradition, and they'll feel it when they see the crowd and they see how raucous it gets. They'll start feeling it right away. So we've had some great ball games with them the last couple of years, and again, there's not many rivalries that are that old, so it's exciting.
Jerry and Josiah, just building off of that, just what have you guys what's been communicated to you guys in terms of this rivalry? Jerry, I'll start with you, man.
It's a tradition. It means something to the community and the people. You want to show out for the community and the people. That's it.
Josiah?
Really just, Coach Sanchez emphasizes that, we ride for the brand, and obviously ever since I've been here, I've rode for the brand, and, I've taken this in as my home, and I love Las Cruces and the fan base and everything, and this means something to them, so it's serious, and we definitely want to dominate them. So,
Tony, you got a chance to play in this rivalry for a couple of years when you were a player here. Just tell me about your experiences, playing in that rivalry and how different it is maybe coaching in it.
Yeah, it's I tell these guys all the time. Coaching's it's a close second, but it's definitely second place to playing. There's nothing like being a player and being a part of it. You getting to physically go out and take some ownership of what's going on out there. But it was a big rivalry back then. Jim Hess was our head coach, and we lost a tough one my senior year up there. I had a good game. I think I had 4 or 5 catches, 2 touchdowns, and so I had a good game up there in Albuquerque. But there's been some great coaches and great players that have come through the years from both programs, and it's one of those games that it's always highly contested, and you always feel the energy, and it's really important. A lot of what we do depends on what happens up north. As far as our support and things like that. We've got a lot of alumni that live in Albuquerque, and you drive around Cruces, you see a lot of UNM plates here too. So I think you got people that live in both cities, from both schools, and they're both great universities. Really proud of them. So I think as the week goes on, you'll really start to feel the energy of it.
Yeah. How different is the energy and atmosphere around in the building within the program when this type of game comes around?
Well, like I said, it's funny because last night we started the process because, traditionally it's one of those deals where, you come in and you're a freshman and, back in the day, most likely you kind of redshirted or you played a little bit. But you had 3 or 4 years of learning from the older guys what the rivalry was all about. Now we're in this day and age where, it's a little transient, so you got all these new guys that come in, guys that are, guys like Josiah, brand new to the program, right? He's an impactful guy, and it's like we got to educate him on, what this rivalry is about. Now, you got to have your emotions under control, but he's one of 40 guys that have never played in this game and don't really know much about it unless you're from Cruces. So it's one of those deals where you got to educate the guys on the game.
With you being an alumnus, do you have kind of a hatred for UNM, or do you feel like that's kind of more with the fans?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if any coach has a hatred for any team. You know what I'm saying? It's it's not really about that. We want to win all of our games, but I've known Bronco Mendenhall for a long time. He's a good football coach. He's a good guy. He's a good family man. I've got nothing against him. Those guys on their roster, I recruited some of those guys, know some of them, and you know what? It's one of those deals where we want to win because we want the Aggies to beat the Lobos, right? But there's nothing personal about it. We want to go out, we want to get our crowd excited, and we want to get after it. Is there a little bit more hard edge this week? Absolutely. Does it mean a little bit more? Absolutely it does, but it has nothing to do with hatred. It just has to do with want.
Josiah, you managed to get two interceptions in the last game, and you guys didn't get takeaways against Liberty or Fresno State, and you were able to get the first ones in Southeast Missouri. So just tell me about those 2 plays ahead, and what do you feel like you guys are trying to do in practice, or just to try and get more of those takeaways?
Coach Sanchez and our coach Fernandez have definitely been emphasizing takeaways since we haven't been getting them so much. So we've been trying to practice how we're trying to play. So we've been emphasizing that a lot in practice, and we've been going at it. And I got my offense back. And I just believe in them too, and I know that they got my back. So try to go out there and do it for them and for the whole fan base, the family, everybody. So.
Coach Sanchez, just can you talk to me about the timing of this game, not only for your programs, but for both programs, considering I think New Mexico's 0-4, you guys 1-3 coming off a tough loss. Every game's like a must-win, but just this one, the timing, how vital was this one for you guys?
It's one of those deals where it can get both teams that have an opportunity to go ahead and ignite their season. Last year after 5 games, we were 2-3. That's where we were last year. It's so easy to forget that, again, the last 2 years, it's been a kind of game that's kind of ignited us. If you look at where it fell and what we did after the game, 2 years in a row, it's been really something that's jump-started us. And, they've played better football as of late. They're putting points up on the board. Dampierre's he's a good quarterback, dual threat guy from Saguaro High School, so they've got some guys, so they're in there trying to figure out, how to solve their problems. We're trying to solve our problems, but it really comes down to just, continuing to grow up and get better. I think we made some strides at the quarterback spot last week, so I'm excited about that. He looked like it was his first game a little bit, but he also made some really good throws, and we got to do a better job of protecting him. Hopefully we get some guys back that were missing last week, so we're hoping on that. But this is a big opportunity for us to go out there, get a win, start feeling good about all the hard work we put in, and get moving in the right direction.
Jerry, just from a player's perspective on that, man, how bad do you guys not only want this one but need it in a way, man?
We need it. It's something that's not really an option at this point. We got to come together. In rough situations, you can either come together or break away, and I think we're going to do a good job of coming together. And it's bigger than each other. It's this game is for the community. It's for the whole state of New Mexico. We have something to prove. We want to do it, and it starts together, and we're going to come together. Our leaders are going to come out and be vocal, and so then we can go express it on Saturday and kick some Lobo butt.
You touched on it right there, the quarterback play. Santino starting this week, or how are we going about this?
Yeah, no, when you watch the film and go back and look at it, he did some good things. We got to do a better job of protecting him. Obviously with Yarrow being out last week, that hurt. We were already kind of, moving guys around with Pete being out and then not having Yarrow last week. There was a lot of, we moved, AJ went into center, and then BJ had to move over to the, to the opposite guard, and then Louis came down from tackle and went to guard. So, we had all kinds of rotations going on. I think we played 9 guys there. So, we got to solidify that a little bit. We're hoping we get Yarrow back. It looks like we will. That'll make a big difference. Guys can go back to their normal positions. But that'll help the quarterback quite a bit. So, like I said, early in the game, he made some really good throws. I don't know if we did a great job of protecting them. Got to get our run game going. That's, that's it. I don't know if we handled the ball to some of our backs enough early in that game, and that's something we'll address. But we got to be able to throw the ball down the field to win games. And we've got a plan, and we just get, like I said, we got to settle that position down. We just got to execute at a high level, and we got to play 4 quarters of football. Third quarter is our biggest Achilles heel right now. We got to come out and score in the third quarter. We haven't done that yet.
What exactly do you want to see from Santino second go around?
You just, it's like you talk about a team who gets their biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2. Well, here you go. Santino, he started an entire game, played the whole game, did some good things. It was nice to see him make some throws at the end. We want to see that gradual improvement. But it's one of those deals. It's hard for people to understand. Like when you are a 2/3, you just don't get the reps that the one guy does. It holds true at every single level. Well, all of a sudden now when you're the one guy, you're getting all those reps. You're getting more and more reps, more multiple reps. You're seeing different looks, and it's just easier to adjust and identify, and that's the biggest thing. So we need to do a good job. Coach Wright needs to do a good job of getting him ready. Mentally, we got to make sure we give him a menu that he can execute, and then we got to develop the running game. If we get the running game going, it'll open everything else up.
Do you feel like you guys are going to get Pete back, or do you feel like that's still in the cards?
He will, but not for this week. He's the boots off. He's running. He's moving. At some point this week, this year, we will get him back, but it won't be for this week.
Gotcha. Tell me a little bit about Jerry. You seem to get a little bit more involved in the game plan. Santino was looking his way a lot. Just tell me what you see from him and how he's progressed over the course of the season.
Him and Hunter Talley have been sharing that spot, and I don't know if you noticed, but Talley didn't play last week either. He was also out due to an injury. So Jerry stepped up, next man up, and he came in and did a heck of a job. That's the scary thing about, sitting out a week. You might not get your job back, So Jerry went in there and did a tremendous job, made some really tough catches, scored a touchdown, but did a really good job in the run game. He's a physical guy. and then we put a big premium on that. Guys want to play physical, hard and tough. Young guy, and he's got a great career ahead of him.
Jerry, how do you feel about that? You did get the opportunity with Hunter out, and obviously Santino's looking your way a lot. Tell me about your connection with Santino and you guys' trust between each other, and just how you feel like you progressed and improved, and how maybe that week of practice was.
I mean, Santino, you kind of got to build, get it together, and that comes through time. And with it being his first start, and pretty much my first start, we just had a click at some point, and we trust each other. We're good friends off the field. I just try to take the best of an opportunity given to me and work with it.
Tony, I want to go back to something I asked Josiah about takeaways. You guys only got one for the first 3 games, but you guys got 2 last week. What have you guys emphasized in practice and this week in order to get more of those takeaways?
Well, just focusing on the takeaway circuits, and we get to continue to ramp that up this week. We had great opportunities. The first play of the game, we had an opportunity for a pick 6. It would have been nice to get that, right? It happens, right? This guy had 2 really nice picks. We also created another turnover, right? They were able to jump on it. That was really big, them getting on it. That's 2 weeks in a row where we've spit the ball out and haven't been able to get on it. So, that's something we talk about all the time. If you're going to win football games, you got to create turnovers. You got to take advantage of them. So it was good to see us, create some opportunities in the secondary last week. We got to continue to do it. A game like this, turnovers will be huge.
Yeah. How do you guys try to take advantage of the takeaways that you guys did? Because last week you guys didn't really do that as much as
we threw the ball right back to them twice in a row. You talk about frustrating. You're sitting there and you get a turnover, and what do? You throw the ball right back to them, and you give them you give them the margin in the turnover. So we got to be a better job there. We put the quarterback in a bad spot though. We had like 3-something left on the clock. We ran a double move, but they were playing soft there. We got to be smarter than that in some of our play selection. So that wasn't really on Santino. That was more on the coaches. So we got to be better in that situation.
I want to go back to something you said last week when I asked you about conferences and things like that. I don't have another question about conferences, but you did say something about finances between you guys and UNM and things like that. And you guys hope to get more money and things like that.
Well, yeah, it's nothing specific. It's just overall, like when you look at 2 state universities, right, and then you look at facilities, just walk through both facilities and then come back and answer your own questions. There's a huge discrepancy. Things have changed, but there's a huge discrepancy in salaries. There's a huge discrepancy in the way programs are funded. A lot of that has to do with the university where you allocate money and what money you have. So again, I'm not going to get into all this and that, but I know. I can go back to our pregame speech before we played the Lobos back when I was a player. Coach Hess up there tearing up, talking about the differences and the discrepancies, and again, me coming back a couple years ago and just seeing what we walked into. It was, it's like, wow. Couldn't believe how much hadn't changed. But Mario's done a phenomenal job of moving us in the right direction. We're building facilities. Like today, I walked by and they're pouring cement right now. The walls are going up in our brand new football building, and that stuff's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, the retort that I've gotten from UNM fans and writers and things like that is that the money that the state gives to both schools is relatively the same, but just maybe the capital outlay is a little bit different. Just what do you?
It's a lot different, and I'm not really concerned about what the Louisville fans think.
Yeah. Another question: how do you? Are there ways do you feel like the states and the legislature can support you guys more, or how do you hope that?
I'm going to leave that to the athletic directors. I'm going to focus on getting some first downs because we've been struggling on doing that. Later in games, and we're going to focus on getting the takeaways. And they're good questions, and I understand them. But right now we're just going to 100% focus on this football game and going out and winning the game.
I got you.
Coach Sanchez, just favorite memory of yours when it comes to this? Rivalry player-wise or coaching-wise? Just tough question, I guess.
You know what? I would say 2 years ago, because 2 years ago we weren't a really good football team. We were struggling. We played really hard. We had a lot of guys who wanted it. Guys like Brohard, Nojo, and guys who were really working hard. And we were stumbling. We came out of the gates that year 1-5. But the game that got us going was the UNM game. Watching Monte make that nice catch for a touchdown. Cordell catching that backside post. Probably Cordell's being a receiver coach, watching him catch that backside post, kind of take the lead, and just getting that big win. The first year you get here when you're trying to turn a program around, that's big to get a rivalry win. So I think that was probably my favorite memory. It was fun catching a couple touchdowns against them, but we didn't win the game, so can't make that the best memory.
Jerry and Josiah, just maybe got asked before, but what do you feel like maybe some of the veterans on this team or the players that have been here a while have told you guys about playing in this game and this rivalry as a whole?
You want to go first?
Whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead.
the guys like early, you know, the guys that's been here, the veterans, you know, Cordell, all the guys that's been around, you know, they tell me like this game big, like it means a lot to them. And I've seen like the turnover from Saturday and us losing after the game, then being upset to Sunday, then being like focused, locked back in, like it's another week, like it's time to shine, you know. And it's very big. It's a big week, you know. And I've only been here for so long, but I understand that. So I'm gonna go out there and we're gonna do the thing, you know. And I'm gonna do it for my brothers, play my best football.
Jerry?
Yeah, you could feel it yesterday. The energy was good, and the vets, it means more to them, and it is another football game, and that's kind of the mindset we have to have. It's another game, but it's also more than another game. It's you got to have some fire in your belly, and you can feel that from the older guys.
Tony, I want to ask you about the rivalry as well. Just both programs have had good seasons. You guys have had some recently, but historically, you know, both New Mexico and New Mexico State haven't had much to maybe celebrate or lean their hat on, things like that. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you feel like fuels this rivalry despite maybe the lack of historical success?
Well, you know what? Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it started back in the 1800s. You know, I mean, I think this is 114th game, but I want to say it's over 130 years, if I'm not mistaken.
There were 6 seasons we did not play them.
Yeah, so it's like there was a handful in World War II, I think,
Yeah.
things like that, COVID, stuff like that. But I mean, when you think about a game that started back in in the 1800s, you know, that's I mean, you know, that's that's a heck of a rivalry, you know. And then think of the proximity, and then it's an interesting state. New Mexico's a beautiful place, and you know, it's one of those deals where sometimes maybe you don't realize until you leave, but people that graduate, you know, who go to these schools, they kind of matriculate back, you know. I mean, there's a lot of people, like I said, a lot of Lobos living here in town, a lot of Aggies living there in Albuquerque. So, I mean, it's bragging rights, you know. Guys like to put on their polo and go to work with guys who went to the different schools and, you know, brag about winning the game and things like that. So I think that kind of creates it.
Yeah. Do you feel like, you know, maybe it comes from just the fact that they're there, or it's kind of a flagship school versus state school thing, or just, you know, or fans, or just, or things like that, or just what else do you feel like you maybe come?
Well, I just think college football, one of the things you don't want to lose with all the, again, you know, the transition and the transfer portal and things like that. What makes college football great are the rivalries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All over the country, and some of them are in-state rivalries. Some of them are just kind of out of state, like you get Ohio State, Michigan, and things like that. You know. So I mean, I just think rivalries make it. You know, we're fortunate because we have 2 rivalries. We're kind of bookended by them. You know what I'm saying? So twice a year you get to get ramped up and play for a trophy and play for some bragging rights because you're going to cross paths a lot. So it's just, you know, I think it's college tradition. You know, these rivalry games.
Yeah. Do you feel like that makes it easier to renew this rivalry since you guys have both been in different conferences for so long? Yeah,
I think these rivalries. I think when you can keep them, I think they're really, really important. You know, and I know we haven't been in the same conference with them in a long time. You know, so I think it's really good on both ends. You know, both athletic departments working together to make sure they keep it. You know, and in all sports, football, basketball, baseball. I mean, volleyball, whatever it is. I mean, it means a lot to everybody.
Yeah. How do you feel like Bronco's done in his first year as a coach, and what do you feel like he's instituted there?
Well, you know, it's hard. I mean, it's different but similar situations. You come in and you got mass transfers you have to deal with. You got to bring a lot of guys in. So I mean, obviously he's a good coach. You know, he's been a good coach for a long time. I think that was a great hire. So you bring guy, he comes in, and so number one, you got to get your offense and defense rolling. You got to get everyone on the same page. You know, it's not like it was like 5, 6, 7 years ago where you come in, you inherit a group of guys. You bring in a small fraction of them. Now you're literally probably bringing in 75% of your starters, right away. So, you watch them on film and the progression from game one to where they're at now, they're continuing to get better, and he'll get those guys going. He's a good coach.
In terms of yesterday, just PowerPoint, or how is the history of this rivalry?
I just spoke about it.
Yeah.
I know about it. I spoke about how long the game's played, the tradition, how much it means to so many older guys. And, it was kind of cool, this last week, up at the last game, after the game, I saw a bunch of old teammates, Lucius Davis, probably arguably the most prolific receiver we've ever had. Probably needs his name on that building out there. 31 touchdown catches, a bunch of yards. Mickey Murray was there. Norwood was there. Denvis Mann sent me a message this morning. So you start to hear from all these guys that used to play here, and they're into it. They know which week this is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in their busy lives with them doing their jobs and raising their families and kids and all over the different parts of the country. This is the one week that they circle. This one in UTEP, and they're always going to check in. They're going to come back. We had a lot of alumni coming back for the game, so it's exciting.
For Jerry and Tony, I want to ask you guys about some offense. When you guys get down to the red zone, you guys have a pretty good red zone offense. The problem has just been getting down there in the first place and scoring. So just what do you feel like needs to happen to establish a little bit more consistency and actually get to a place where you guys can put up some more points?
Well, I think it's kind of just like winning the line of scrimmage, dominating the line of scrimmage is huge, and getting down to the red zone it's been a struggle for us, and we got to establish what we're good at and do what we're good at. And once we're down there, we know we're good in the red zone, so we'll be fine. It's just getting down there. We got to figure out ways how we can move the ball, whether that's the run game or the pass game or developing shots down the field, making big plays.
We just got to get better at the middle of the football game. I mean, you look at last week, and the first quarter we had time of possession was like 10 minutes, and I think they had a little 4-something. And then you look at the second, third quarter. I mean, it totally flipped. Our defense was out there way too long, too many 3-and-outs, not sustaining drives, not creating a lot of explosives, and that's been that way a couple weeks in a row. I mean, the defense held on even against Fresno. I mean, they did a good job of settling down after those 14 points. And I believe 2 weeks in a row we've had shutouts in the third quarter. And we've got to get our butt going. I thought we physically did not play really well up front last week. Quarterback got hit too many times. We couldn't get the run game going early on. So those are big things. I mean, we've got to be able to move the ball consistently in that second and third quarter.
For Josiah, this is the first time we've got you in one of these this season, and I've been asking all the transfers this, and there's a whole bunch of them obviously, but for you, just what was it like when you entered the portal, and what contributed to your decision to be at New Mexico State?
Entering the portal, it's just a lot of coaches, it's a lot of people hitting you up. It's kind of busy while you're still trying to keep working and perfecting your craft while you're, looking for a new home. And when I had came here, I met Coach Sanchez, and he was just like a real genuine, honest guy. He was like, he loved football. He talked about football, how serious he wanted the program to be. Like, he talked about how he envisioned the program basically, and how it's a hard hat program. Like, we don't get nothing easy, like stuff like that. And that's how I was raised. So it damn near like Coach, like I was supposed to be here. Like it was supposed to happen. I loved Coach Sanchez in the way how he inflicted, like how he wanted it to happen, and then when I got here, like he made it happen. And he on us hard. He coached me hard. Every time, and he never lets me. Just wiggle my way by, and that's why I think I've been becoming a better football player. Coach Sanchez and all the other coaches. Each coach that he's hired is crazy because they all have kind of the same mindset, and they're all genuinely real coaches, and they want the best for us, and they're coaching us hard. So I'm glad I chose this program.